What's up, YouTube? I hope each and every one of you guys are healthy and enjoying life today. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the 2024 Genesis GV70 3.5T Sport Advanced. Huge thank you to Napoleon Ha over at Safford Genesis of Springfield, Virginia for allowing me to do this video for you guys today. If you are interested in this particular GV70 or any Genesis product, then I'll be sure to have Napoleon's information on screen as well as in the description box down below. But with that said, let's get into the video. All right, well, just like usual, first I'm going to talk about the exterior and the performance. So like I said, this is a 2024 Genesis GV70 3.5T Sport Advanced, and this particular one has been painted in the $575 Capri Blue. I wanted to preface this video by saying for 2024, Genesis added more safety features, a Wi-Fi hotspot, and updated wheels to the 3.5T Sport Advanced. So with that in mind, as standard with the Sport Advanced, you get LED headlights with high beam assist, as well as LED daytime running lights, LED turn signals, and a black headlight bezel. There's a closer view of that. And then taking a step to the left, I love the front end of the GV70, especially with the Sport Advanced. It looks fantastic because it looks sporty and luxurious at the same time. But with that in mind, you get a dark chrome mesh style grille with your front camera at the center. So this being the Sport Advanced, you get that forward-facing camera, and that forward-facing camera works with your 360-degree view camera system. And then also, as standard with the Sport Advanced, you get 6 forward-facing sensors. Now back to the stylistic traits up here at the front end, you get satin black lower and outer grills, and with your lower grill you get a gloss black grill surround. And then also you get 7.3 inches of ground clearance here with the GV70, no matter which trim level you get. But coming on down the side, as mentioned, this one being the Sport Advanced, you get the adaptive suspension with road preview. So let's say you're driving down the road, right? I'm going to try to hide from the wind a little bit. And you see, or the car senses a pothole up there. Basically what it's going to do is it's going to loosen up the suspension, prepare for that bump, which hopefully gets you over that bump a little bit smoother than it would otherwise be if you did not get the adaptive suspension. And then here is a view of the wheels that you get with the Sport Advanced and the Sport Prestige. And they are 21-inch dark sputtering wheels wrapped in 255/40 Michelin Primacy Tour all-season tires. I'll give you a view of the tread pattern on those tires there real quick. And then also you do get the black painted calipers with the silver Genesis script. And then I'm going to take a step back, give you a front 3/4 shot of this thing. I love all the body lines. And by the way, you do get rain sensing wipers as standard. And then working my way into the side view mirrors, you get body color mirror caps with integrated turn signals. And as standard, these side view mirrors are heated, power folding. Both mirrors are auto dimming. You also get memory function. So when you step into the interior, not only is it going to memorize your steering wheel setting, your seat settings, it is also going to memorize the side view mirror settings as well. So that's very nice. If you have two drivers driving the same vehicle, you get 2 memory seat adjustment settings. And then also you get your blind spot monitoring on the outer left hand side of your driver's side mirror and on the outer right hand side of your passenger side mirror. And then coming down just a little bit more, you get a camera right there, and that camera works with your blind spot view system as well as the 360-degree view camera system. And by the way, the lower half of your side mirror is gloss black. I absolutely love this paint color. When the salesperson pulled this up, Napoleon, I thought it looked absolutely fantastic, matched to all these sporty elements that you get with the Sport Advanced or the Sport Prestige. So up top here, you get the gloss black roof rails, then you get the dark chrome window trim. You also get body color door handles with that dark chrome accenting on the top of them, and you also do get keyless access. And then coming down just a little bit more, right here, this is your gloss black trim. Doesn't pick up very well on camera, but here's a closer view of that. So that is that gloss black trim that I'm talking about there. And then coming around down the side, you get a capless filler neck. Genesis does recommend you put premium fuel in this thing. However, you can fill it up with regular and you're not gonna have any sort of issues, but they do recommend premium. But if you wanna save a little bit of money, put regular in it. And then up top here, you get your body color shark fin antenna, you get your body color roof spoiler with your integrated third brake light. The third brake light spans the entire length of your roof spoiler. And then you also do get a rear window defroster. Your rear wiper is right here, and LED taillights come standard. Here's a rear 3/4 shot of this thing. Taking a step to the right, here's a little booty shot of this thing. You get the chrome badging with the GV70 badging, the Genesis badging, and the 4-wheel drive badging over here. 4-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, basically the same thing. And then coming underneath here, you have your backup camera, and then also right here, if you press on that button, that is going to open up your power lift gate. So as standard, you get a hands-free power lift gate. That's the speed in which it opens, and then it reveals a decent amount of storage space. But just keep in mind, with the GV70, you kind of have like that sloping roof design a little bit, as you can see right here. So you are vertically limited-ish when it comes to storage space, but you can still fit what you need to back here. I'm gonna list the price of all the accessories here on screen. But yeah, on the right-hand side, you have a little storage cubby with a cargo net. You also have a LED light on both sides of the trunk. And then also on the passenger side of the trunk, you get a 12-volt power outlet. And lifting up on this piece right here, all you do is push and pull. That's gonna lift up. You get a little bit of storage space down here. You could set jumper cables, gloves, you know, small little items like that. And if you keep lifting, that is going to reveal your spare tire and your jack and all that kind of stuff back in there. And then you also do get folding second row seats. So if you pull on this door handle looking thing right here, that is going to drop your second row seats. So if you pull on that, second row seats drop. Not sure why this side is not dropping at the moment, but you can drop both sides. So anyway, that's kind of about it for what we got going on back here in the trunk area. You also get this fancy looking brushed aluminum little guard back here. And then over here on the left, you have your button to open or close the power liftgate. That's mostly to close it, obviously. And then to the right of that, that is to lock the vehicle. I'm just going to close the power liftgate, and we're going to finish things off here at the back end. So coming down just a little bit, you get 6 parking sensors back here. You also get a satin black rear valance right here that surrounds your dual exhaust tips. Coming down right there and right there are your 2 reverse lights. And I also wanted to mention that you get a max tow capacity of 3,500 pounds. So you can pull a couple jet skis, you can pull a small boat, maybe a couple 4-wheelers, stuff like that, as long as they are under 35 pounds. So maybe 3,500 pounds, so maybe not the most capable when it comes to towing, but definitely not the least capable. You can tow what you need to, and if this is going to be your daily driver, you're probably not going to tow all that often anyways. But with that stuff out of the way, let's move into performance. Popping open that hood reveals the 3.5-liter twin turbo V6 that makes 375 horsepower and 391 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission for a 0 to 60 time in 4.9 seconds. And if you were wondering about fuel economy, you can achieve 18 miles per gallon in the city, 24 miles per gallon on the highway for 20 miles per gallon combined with all-wheel drive. I got this thing out onto the road, and it is actually surprisingly peppy, especially in the lower end RPMs. It's got very good low-end torque. But if you're enjoying the video so far today, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button. I'm on my journey to 100,000 subscribers, and I cannot reach my goal without your support. So if you're enjoying the video, if you've learned anything from the video, please just take a second to like, comment, and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. It looks very good for my channel in the YouTube algorithm. But with that stuff out of the way, let's move into the interior. Moving on into the interior, as mentioned earlier in the video, you do get keyless access. So all you have to do is have your key fob in your pocket, walk up to the vehicle, put your hand behind the door handle, and it will unlock. You can also lock it if you run your finger across this little box right here, and it will lock back up. But this one being the Sport Advanced, you do get the Genesis digital key fob. So taking a look at the key fob, going over the functions, you have your lock function, your remote start function, your unlock function, your power liftgate function, your panic function, and then you have these 3 functions right here. So basically, if you click this function, the vehicle is going to move forward on its own, all by pressing on that button. Same thing here, but you're going to put it backwards, and then that is going to turn the lights on. But stepping on into the interior, as mentioned, this one being the Sport Advanced, you do get the Napa leather seating surfaces. So very fancy looking seats. Also included in that package, you get the Lexicon Premium Audio, which sounds absolutely fantastic. And this area up top here is leatherette wrapped. You get some accent colored stitching. You get some satin chrome accenting here. You have your 2 memory seat adjustment settings. Here are your side view mirror controls, and pressing on that button right there is going to power fold in or out your side view mirrors. You have your unlock and your lock functions. automatic up and down windows at all 4 corners. Pressing on this button is going to restrict your passenger window privileges, but it is also a child lock for your second row doors. You get a nicely padded armrest. You get this cool pattern trim right here, some storage space, a spot you could set a water bottle, and another speaker down here. You also get a brushed aluminum Genesis door sill that's not going to pick up all that well on camera. But again, here are what your front seats look like. Both of them are power front seats with 4-way power lumbar. However, you do get the Ergo Motion driver's seat, which is basically like a massaging driver's seat. And then also with these controls here, you can bring these bolsters in. You can push, these are the bolsters. You can push the bolsters out. This is a thigh extension, so the thigh extension will come. It's just very adjustable front driver's seat. And it is ultra comfortable, especially when the massaging function is on. So now I'm gonna lock the vehicle, fire her up from the interior, and take a listen. So that is what it sounds like when you fire this thing up from the interior's perspective. And basically now what I'm going to do is, walk you throughout the entire interior. So again, this one being the Sport Advanced, you get the backlit trim is what they call it. It's basically like ambient lighting. You can see that red light strip there. That is what the Sport Advanced gives you. Make it a little bit more premium and special feeling. And you also get some of that same ambient lighting down here in your door pocket. So very cool. But pressing on that button is going to turn the auto stop start system on or off. This is going to brighten and or dim your gauge cluster as well as your backlit buttons. This is your hill descent control function. That is going to turn the traction control system on or off. That is going to pop open your power lift gate, and then if you pull out on that, that is going to engage your parking brake. If you want to disengage the parking brake, you have to push your foot against the brake, push against that, and the parking brake will disengage. Also, this being the Sport Advanced, you get these sport pedals down there with the aluminum, with the rubber. They look fantastic. You also get the floor-mounted accelerator. Very cool. And then also, you get the power tilting and telescoping steering wheel, meaning you can bring the steering wheel towards you, you can push the steering wheel away from you, and you can also move it up and down, all by messing with this little toggle switch right here. This is also included with your memory seat functions. So if I press that, it's going to go back into my original position, setting 1. Now, let's take a listen to the turn signal. That is what the turn signal sounds like here on the GV70. And you may have noticed that little camera view right there. That is your blind spot view system. Also, see the black backlit trim is illuminating this trim piece here. I think that is really cool. But not only is this your turn signal control stock, this is also your headlight control stock. So all the way at the top, that is headlights on. You come down 1, that is daytime running lights on. Come down 1 more, that is headlights automatic. And if you go all the way down, that is headlights off. And I like how it illuminates whichever one you are in. You see that? See how it lets you know basically there? It also lets you know over there on screen as well, which setting you are in with your headlights. So I think that is very cool. And then zooming back out, you get a leather wrapped steering wheel. It is also heated with the Sport Advanced. And just like any other vehicle, you have your horn at the center. So let's take a listen. That is what the horn sounds like here on the GV70. You also do get steering wheel mounted paddle shifters with the downshift paddle on the left, the upshift paddle on the right, and they are plastic. Now, walking you through the different controls here on the steering wheel, this is to speak to the vehicle. Volume control, if you press on the volume control, that is going to mute the audio system. And then here are your tuning controls. So if you wanted to go back on a track on your Bluetooth audio, you'd push up. If you wanted to go forwards on a track on your Bluetooth audio, you would push down. And then if you click on that phone button right there and you have a phone connected to the vehicle, the phone screen will pop up on your infotainment system. And then these 2 buttons here are configurable. So if I click on mode, it's going to bring me into this screen here. And basically I can control or click any of these different things, right? So take a look at all the different functions you can choose from. It can be Bluetooth audio, phone protection, sounds of nature, any of these different things here. And it can be all of them if you wanted to. So the mode button, you can select literally all of these different functions here. And basically every time you click the mode button, it is going to bounce between all of these different things. So we go to Bluetooth audio, phone protection, sounds of nature, and it would bounce, and then it would come loop back around and bounce between them. You can also select maybe only 1 of them, maybe 2 of them, maybe 3 of them. You can select however many, however little as you want to with the mode button. And this star button right here, it's a similar thing. However, with the star button, you can only select 1 of them. So it's basically a very similar premise. So right now it's set to none. If you click that star, it could go into your radio media stuff. It can cancel a route, reroute. So it can be any of these things here on screen, but can only be one of them. So the mode button can be all of them, 3 of them, any of them. The star button can only be one of them. So that is the star button in question. And then coming to the right hand side of the steering wheel, as standard, you do get smart cruise control. Smart cruise control is basically adaptive cruise control, and these functions right here are for your smart cruise control system. And then these 2 functions here are for your 8-inch digital gauge cluster. So this is a partially digital gauge cluster. If you wanted the full 3D digital gauge cluster that is 12.3 inches, you would have to get the Sport Prestige, but this one being the Sport Advanced, you only get the 8-inch digital cluster, which is from here over. That is analog. So we might as well move into that, but I guess I'll show you. That is your windshield wiper control stock. This end piece right here is for the rear wiper. All of the other stuff moving up and down is for your front wipers. But moving into our gauge cluster. So on the left-hand side, as mentioned, it is analog. So this is your speedometer, that is your fuel gauge, and then everything to the right of that is digital. So this is your 8-inch partially digital gauge cluster. The reason I'm saying partially is because that's not digital. This is digital. And move it into the digital gauge cluster part. You have your tachometer over here, the ambient exterior temperature. Right down there is your odometer. That is your fuel range. That is the digital speedometer readout. That is the speed limit sign, driver assistance stuff, transmission status stuff, and the auto stop start system. Now, if you wanted to navigate throughout that screen right now, I can scroll down and it can bring me into my attention level, bring me into my tire pressure stuff, engine temperature stuff. If you keep scrolling down, then you have your torque split. So basically, if I floored this vehicle from a stop, all of these boxes would fill in, whereas if I was on the highway just giving it a little bit of gas, it would basically just tell me that my front wheels are powering the vehicle forward, if that makes sense. And then coming down a little bit more, you get your oil temperature, the torque, the turbo PSI. Then you can select what you want to see on the screen. So if you press and hold on this, you can see your drive info. You can deselect that if you wanted to. You can go into your since refueling stuff. Right now, this was actually deselected, so I selected it so I could see my digital speedometer readout at the center. Auto stop start, don't really care about that, so it's not checked. And all of these other things are checked. So basically, you can uncheck them, you can check them, and basically that would be what you're bouncing between here on this layout. So up top, you get your drive info, accumulated information, and this is the screen that I would personally leave it on. But if you click on that paper looking button, see how it's like a few different pages, then it was going to bring you into your driver assistance screen. Clicking over one more time, it's going to bring you into your compass stuff, and then it brings you back into your digital speedometer readout. So not a ton going on throughout this screen, but it basically displays what you want to and what you need to see. So I like it. If you want the 12.3 inch screen, you would look into getting the Sport Prestige. But moving on into this screen. So this is your 14.5 inch infotainment system with built-in navigation and wired Apple CarPlay and wired Android Auto connectivity. So swiping all the way to this way, this is your home screen. You can see your date, your time, the music that's playing, and then subtly on this side of the screen, you can see your navigation stuff. Now swiping over to this secondary screen, it's gonna bring you into all of these different things. So it's gonna go into map, nav, you can read what it's gonna go into. Phone projection is for like your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, but it does, you do have to use a cable, so it's wired. And then swiping over a little bit more, you have your voice memo stuff and all of these different things you can read here on screen. You can also go into your seat stuff, and you can adjust the passenger seat controls, forward position, all of these different things here. You can also go into your seat settings. So you can see your ergo motion seat, which is for the driver. And, you know, basically it's very easy to use, so I don't feel like I need to spend too much time here explaining what you see on the screen, but I do want to show you what the climate control screen looks like when it is on. So that is what the climate control screen looks like. And then backing out of that, if you wanted to go into, like, let's say your driver assistance settings. So let's go into our setup here. And instead of having to navigate throughout all of these different things here, well, it's just basically right there. You could click on the magnifying glass. It's going to bring you into this screen, and you're going to type in driver assistance. And basically you can see driver assistance pops up and it brings you into your driver assistance features. So that is definitely very nice, and it makes very It makes it very easy to navigate throughout what you need to here on the infotainment system, all by that magnifying glass. So if you need to find something, look for the magnifying glass in your setup menu and type in what you need to find. So that is basically that. And then also up top here, it's going to show you your driver profile. Right now I am a guest, but let's say, you know, you're using your wife's key fob, but you normally have your own key fob, but you lost it and you're using hers. Well, basically when you step into the vehicle with her key fob, it's going to go into her memory seat adjustment setting. But let's say, you know, you have her key fob, but you want all of your memory settings and all your stuff. Well, you would come over to here and you see this fingerprint authenticator. Basically, you put your finger on that and it will basically bring you into your driver profile. So that is why you have that fingerprint authenticator. And then it's going to memorize your preset radio stations. It's going to memorize all of your seat settings, steering wheel settings, side view mirror settings, etc. That is why you have the fingerprint authenticator. Basically, that's kind of about it for the infotainment screen. You get 4 HVAC vents on the dash. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then coming down to your climate control stack, the Sport Advanced gets a dual zone climate control system. If you wanted a tri-zone climate control system, you would have to look into getting the Sport Prestige. But anyways, this is what the climate control system looks like. You can see the temperature controls, what the automatic climate control system is on. Basically, you have 3 settings with the automatic climate control system. Right now it's set to medium. If you click on that right there, that is going to turn your heated steering wheel on. You get 2 levels of adjustability with your heated steering wheel. And then you also have your driver temperature controls, passenger temperature controls over there. And basically then you have the off, auto, and stuff like that. So now the system is off. Very nice little like screen that you got down here. Very easy to use, you know, that's the kind of the theme of this thing, which I like. And then if you click on this, you can see it. You can adjust where the air is blowing, but I'm going to turn that back off. Basically, if you click up top here, that is going to turn your heated seat on. You get 3 levels of adjustability. If you click down here, you get your ventilated seat with 3 levels of adjustability. So as standard, you get heated and ventilated front seats. I think I mentioned that. And then you get all of your different shortcut buttons down here. So you can shortcut into your map, nav. This is another configurable button. And then over here, hazard button. This is going to pop your radio stuff. This is going to pop up your media stuff. Media being like Bluetooth audio, USB audio, etc. And then that's going to bring you into your settings screen. But coming over to the configurable button, we're going to click on that. And it is basically the same premise behind these 2 buttons, except you get a different menu of options to choose from for this button. So this button can be your home button, your Bluetooth audio button, driver assistance stuff. Any of these things you can read on screen now. However, just like the filled in star button, you can only select one thing. So the mode button, you can select multiple. The 2 star functions, you can only select one. So that's kind of about it for what we got going on there. If you come back just a little bit more, as standard with this thing, you get a wireless charging pad. I have an iPhone 14 Pro Max, and we're gonna see if it fits in the wireless charging pad, which it does, one of the bigger phones on the market. And when that lights up in that amber color, it lets you know that the wireless charging pad is charging your phone. And then also down here, you get 2 USB-A ports. And then up top here, you can see the battery with the lightning bolt. That is also letting me know that my phone is charging in the wireless charging pad. Here's your drive mode selector. You have a few different drive modes. Starting at the top, you have your snow mode, your eco mode, your comfort mode, sport, sport plus, and your custom mode. You can set your custom mode how you want it to be. But let's say I go into my sport plus mode. Basically, the bolsters now tightened in on me. So then when I go back into my comfort mode, the bolsters are going to release. So that is very cool, and I can feel it. I just can't really show you that on screen, if that makes sense, because it's hard to convey. I can't convey it actually on video. But then this is to turn your parking sensors, both front and rear, on or off. The front and rear parking sensors come with the Sport Advanced, as does the 360-degree view camera system. 360 cam, that is your backup camera. And then if you go into drive, now that is your forward-facing camera. That's about it for those controls. If you come back a little bit, this is your volume control knob. This is your tuning control knob. This is your back button, your home button, and your menu button, all for your infotainment screen. Now this scroll knob here is also for your infotainment screen. So when I scroll the scroll knob, you can see it's basically navigating throughout that screen. And if, let's say, I wanted to go into like seat all I would do is click down on that and it's going to bring me into my seat stuff. Then this is my home button. It's going to bring me into my home screen, so on and so forth. Very easy to use, and I love not only the touchscreen capability, but also this knob right here. It makes it very easy to do when you're driving rather than having to reach over and mess with your screen by touch, you know, it just makes it easy. So this is your auto hold function. If you're tired of holding your foot down on your brake in traffic, you press that button, the vehicle will hold you in place by itself with its braking system. And then this is your transmission control knob, or whatever you want to call it. So if you twist all the way to the right, it's going to put you into drive. You twist all the way to the left, it's going to put you into reverse. And if you push P right there, it is going to put you into park. To the right of that, you have your 2 cup holders. Then you get a nicely padded armrest with some accent colored stitching. And when you open this thing up, you get a 12-volt power outlet. Not that much storage space down in here. I'd say maybe about 10 inches of depth there, and probably about, you know, 6 inches of depth there. And you also get this divider you can take in and out. Closing that back up and working my way to the passenger side, you get a lockable lower glove box. You get a decent amount of storage space in the glove box. Not the most, but not the least that I've seen in a vehicle of this size. And then this is what the passenger side looks like. I apologize about my backpacks, but I need those to film. You get an auto dimming rear view mirror. It's frameless, and you get your universal garage door opener on the bottom. So if you own a house with 3 garage bays, you can open them up individually. Then you get a sunglass holder. Here are all of your different light controls. If you click on that, that is your instant dome light on button for all of your interior dome lights. This button right here is whether you want the lights to turn on or not when you open up the doors. And then if you just touch these lights, these are basically like your reading lights, and it's basically like a touch screen kind of thing. Then you have your passenger airbag on or off stuff. And if you pull back on this, that is going to slide back your shade. So you get a panoramic roof with this thing. So you can see the sunroof not only slides, but the sunroof also does tilt. Let's see, will it come back anymore? Nope. The sunroof also will tilt, which I'll show you here. All you have to do in order to tilt the sunroof is push up. You push up on this and the sunroof will tilt. And then also with the Sport Advanced, you do get the micro suede headliner. It feels very nice. It looks very nice. And if you open this thing up, you get a vanity mirror, a vanity light, and a spot you could set any small little paper product. These visors also do slide forwards and backwards. And then the driver gets a no poop handle. The front passenger also gets a no poop handle. And then speaking of these seats here in the front, they are very, very comfortable. I love how the bolsters will come in, they'll go out, and you can also adjust that here on the side of the seat. Let's say I wanted to bring the bolsters in. All I would do is come over to here, and it's basically going to tell me what to do on this side of the screen. So now I'm bringing the bolsters in, I'm bringing the bolsters out, and it tells you exactly what you're doing there on that side of the screen. So I think that is very, very cool. And then also, you can move the passenger seat forwards and backwards, and then you can also, you know, recline or bring that seat up. So this is going to basically bring the seat like this, and then the bottom button here is going to bring the seat forwards and backwards there on the passenger side. Now I'm going to throw the entire window sticker on screen. You can take a look at everything that you get with the Sport Advanced. You can take a look at everything that you get as standard, but I did want to mention, now I'm going to throw what you get with the Sport Prestige on screen right now. If you want to, you know, basically, if you're in between the two, that maybe will settle the debate on which one you want. But now I'm just going to highlight the MSRP. So the MSRP of the way that this particular 2024 GV70 3.5T Sport Advanced is spec'd is $66,075. I know that is a lot of money, but this is a very, very nice vehicle for the money. Super premium feeling, super premium looking, and it's also nice and quick as well, which we'll see here in a minute or two. But before getting into that, I want to show you what we got going on here in the rear seats. So this is what the rear door panel looks like. Leatherette wrapped, nicely padded armrest, automatic up and down window here at the back. And the window nearly goes all the way down, but not quite. And then you also have your unlock and your lock functions, a speaker, another speaker down there. And this is what your second row seats look like. If you pull up on that, that is going to recline these second row seats, which I will demonstrate for you now. So I'm pulling up on that lever I just showed you, and these seats will recline to a nice recline ability, if that's a word. Up top here, poop panel, dry cleaning holder, and a dome light. You get the same things on that side as well. You also get a seat back pocket behind the driver's seat. You get a seat back pocket behind the passenger seat. You get 2 HVAC vents here, a spot you could set a phone, You get a household power outlet there on the right and 2 USB ports there on the left. You get a nicely padded armrest with 2 cup holders. And when it comes to knee room, I'm adjusted behind myself. I've got plenty of knee and leg room. Here's another view of that knee and leg room. And with my seat reclined, I've got plenty of headroom. But really, that's kind of about it for what we got going on here in this GV70. So, you know, we've talked about the exterior, we've talked about the performance, and now we've talked about what's going on here in the interior. So I want to see what this thing's like to drive, as I'm assuming you guys do as well. So I'll see you guys in the driver's seat. All right, now on to the driving portion of the video. Take a listen. This thing is very quick, and it has like more than enough getup than you need for a daily driver, which is something that I personally really appreciate. I always like to have more power than less power, because, you know, for that one time you need the power to get around somebody or for a sticky situation, the power is there here with this thing, and I definitely appreciate power like that. Here's another acceleration. One thing I did notice is that this thing has great low-end torque. Like, you know, when you're just cruising down the highway at like 55, 60 miles an hour and you just barely got to push your foot into the accelerator, but you can feel like that kind of little kick in the butt where the car's like moving quicker than you would expect it to. Well, that is the kind of like low-end torque that this has, which is great if you do a lot of highway driving, great if you drive in the city, or great if you drive at all, really. You know what I'm saying? Like, having low-end torque is something that is kind of slept on. You know, everybody wants those high horsepower numbers, but when it comes to torque, man, torque is a big thing most of the time, because when you're driving, I mean, I can't speak for how you drive, but most people drive in the lower RPM range the majority of the time, and that's where the torque is. And that's why torque is so good. You know, if you're on the highway or if you're driving in the city, you know, torque is the thing that you should look out for, really, when it comes to driving, because that's mostly what you're going to be using, unless you're going to be, you know, flooring it around everywhere, which in that case, you know, you want both the torque and the horsepower, which I like both, obviously. But you know, here we're going to do a little acceleration in Sport Plus mode, and we're just going to basically hit it. Now, nice and quick. It's that great acceleration. Now, when it comes to brakes, you see all I'm doing is clicking on hitting the brakes, and it's slowing me down with the downshifts and stuff. So I'm gonna go back into comfort mode. Again, the bolsters will release, and that's so cool about this thing, is like the bolsters will tighten up when you put it in sport mode, and then they'll loosen up when you put it in comfort mode. So it knows when you want to do sporty driving. The transmission knows you want to do sporty driving. Your seat knows you want to do sporty driving. So it's just those little things that kind of add up to, you know, a vehicle you would think that would cost like $120,000, because really, especially with the seats, that kind of reminds me of like a BMW M car. Like, that's something a BMW M car costing $120K would do, not a $66,000 Genesis. You know what I'm saying? It's just like those little things that really like just add up, like with the transmission downshifting like it just did, with the seats tightening up. Those things really add up to a very just great driving experience when it comes to the performance of the vehicle, but also when it comes to, you know, the seating comfort in the vehicle. You know, all those things add up. And then, you know, it's very quiet here on the interior. So just take a listen. It's a very windy day. Take a listen to what it sounds like cruising at about 40. I know, not the fastest, but it is what it is. Maybe a little bit slower now. You know, today's not the ideal day to film. I was gonna do 2 videos, but now I'm thinking I'm only gonna do 1, because really when I'm filming out and it's windy, you know, you kind of got to rush through the outside of the video in between like wind, and it's not good for the end product. And you know, the end product is what I try to give you guys a nice end product. So if I feel like it's too windy, it's gonna mess with the audio and the video and stuff, then it's just not worth it for me to film another video. But anyways, sorry for that little rant there. Take a listen to what it sounds like cruising at about 40. I also wanted to go over the suspension. I'm gonna hit this bump on purpose. That like little like rattle you hear is the license plate in the rear window. But I wanted to say, I think the suspension on this maybe is on like the touch of the firmer side of things. It's not like super firm, but it is on the firmer side of things, which is not necessarily a bad thing. You know, it's not like gonna beat you up, like going over every bump. You're like bump, 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 bump. You know, it's not like that, but you can feel bumps every now and again. And it's just, again, the suspension is on the firmer side, which if you're going around turns and stuff like that, you know, this is good for the turns. You know, it's not gonna be the greatest for the turns because it's not like a sports car, but it's got the adaptive suspension. So when you put it into sport mode, the suspension is gonna tighten up. If you put it in comfort mode, the suspension is gonna loosen up. So again, like I said, everything is kind of working together, the transmission, the suspension, the seat, to just give you a $120,000 driving experience in a $66,000 car. You know what I mean? Like, there are a lot of vehicles at this price point, you know, that don't have these different things, and that you get an option for those things, whereas you don't necessarily have to option for these things because it comes in a certain trim level. But I think you catch my drift. You know what I'm saying? This is a very nice vehicle. I know $66,000 is a lot of money, believe me, I know that. However, I think you get a lot for your money, and I think your money goes a long way with the GV70, in my personal opinion. You know, it's got the looks, it's got the performance, it's got the comfort, and it's got all the features, you know, 360 cam, smart cruise control, etc. It's got everything you need and more. And also, going into the sound system with the Sport Advanced, you actually get the Lexicon sound system, and the Lexicon sound system sounds great. It's a very good sounding sound system, and I got no complaints whatsoever when it comes to the Lexicon sound system. And before I started doing videos with Genesis, I've never heard of the Lexicon sound systems, but I'm very pleased with the way that they sound, with the bass, the clarity, etc. They're a very good sounding sound system. All right, here's another acceleration. Very, very strong acceleration. I'm telling you guys, you got to get this thing out onto the road and really test it for yourself to really understand what the acceleration feels like. No, it's not the fastest thing you've driven, but I think it will surprise you when you rip this thing off the line. It is very, very quick. So just to summarize this vehicle, I think it looks sleek, it's very comfortable, it's sporty, and it comes at, you know, an affordable price considering everything that you get with this vehicle, in my opinion. But that's it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy the video, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button. I'm on my journey to 100,000 subscribers, and I cannot reach my goal without your support. So if you're enjoying the video, or if you enjoy the video, if you learned anything from the video, please take a second to like, comment, and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Those things look very good for my channel in the YouTube algorithm, and that is what helps me grow. So I'd appreciate it again if you do that. But again, that is it for today's video. I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.